One of the consistent bits of feedback that we get from our course is how delicious the food is, for which I can take absolutely no credit at all. It is all down to our friend and neighbour Penny Johnstone, and she is here today because I have challenged her to make something wonderful to celebrate VE Day. Good morning, Pen.
Good morning, Kate.
How are you?
Oh, I'm absolutely great, thank you very much. Back at work again after far too long.
I know, I know. Now, VE Day approaches.
It does.
So what have you decided that you are going to cook in kind of homage to VE Day?
Lovely rhubarb, elderflower, and then a crumble made with some wholemeal, because they used quite a lot of wholemeal flour. They didn't have refined flour like we do now. So a bit of wholemeal flour, a bit of porridge oats, mixture of sugar and some butter. I have put in butter rather than margarine.
Yes. Right, so you've chopped up the rhubarb. What are you going to do with
I'm
it?
going to put it in the pan.
Yep.
And just cover it with a little bit of elderflower, and hopefully that won't take very long. While that cooks, I will make the crumble. That was sugar in there, brown and white sugar going into the flours, and then some butter here.
Is it important that the butter goes in cold?
Yes, otherwise you go to a paste. I have done it and regretted it. And you get a pastry rather than a crumble.
Yeah.
And I tend to cut it with a knife first before I put my hands in, because I do have quite hot hands. Suddenly I could hear it bubbling. There we are. I don't want to overcook it, that's my point. Take it off, leave the lid on it, and just let it sit for a bit. I might give a stir in a minute, but I'll get this done first. Now, if you like, you can put nuts in. I often put hazelnuts in, especially nibbed hazelnuts, which are caramelised, which are really rather yummy.
So naughty.
And of course, otherwise, you can put ginger in.
Yes, which is again a classic.
Which is lovely. I'm just crumbling, just getting down to little lumps rather than great big ones. I think that's probably about enough now. I think that now can go in the fridge for a few minutes. Yes, this is al dente, as they would say. One or two bits have gone soft, inevitably.
Yeah.
But, that's perfect.
And you're draining off some of the juice?
I am, because I want to reduce the juice hard and put it in there. Having drained most of the juice off, I'm putting it back on there to reduce it down to almost a syrup. Then I will put it on top, and that just gives it extra depth of flavour. I'm just going to add a couple of teaspoonfuls of sugar, because I don't think it's quite sweet enough. I've got demerara and granulated in there. That's better. I've reduced that really well.
Yeah.
Lovely colour. And I'm now going to put that on top of the rhubarb. Crumble now is chilled enough to be able to put on top. And as I know, we all like lots of crumble. Oh, Mrs. J, well done. So that now can go straight into the oven. Right, let's have a look, because I think these are now done. Yes, that's much better. And then moving on to something else, which I know was in abundance VE time, was salmon.
Yeah.
I mean, the Usk and the Wye especially were full of them. And so I thought, why not do some potted salmon?
What is potted salmon?
Salmon is briefly cooked and then seasoned and put into a pot, ramekin or big dish, whatever, depending on how many you're feeding, and you then cover it with clarified butter.
So is this like a posh fish paste?
It's like a posh fish paste, yes. And I'm just going to put that in there with some fish stock. So that's going in with a bay leaf. That is Halon Mon celery salt, which is, to me, the best celery salt there is. And I'm just going to do
So this is our lovely local salt producer, isn't it?
From Anglesey, which is so fantastic. And I use a lot of their salt. So I'm now going to put that on the hob to cook quietly for about 4 minutes. Having turned it over, is now cooked.
So what herbs have you got here, Pen?
I've got parsley,
Yeah.
chives, some fennel at the back, some dill here. I'm not going to use the fennel because I think it's too strong. That's that. This is the dill and the parsley, all of which will go into the potted salmon.
This is very posh fish paste.
Very posh fish. Let's do that. Get rid of, and then just take the skin off. You still want to have a slight opaqueness.
So you've got your salmon, your herbs, your lemon zest.
And then some lemon juice. And a bit of Tabasco. This just gives it a zing, and it's a change from pepper. Pop it into the ramekins. As it's potted, you do want to press it down a bit.
Yeah. So you get that sort of slightly terrine-like
yes.
texture.
We'll see how our clarified butter is doing. That is now melted completely, and then just literally pour it on gently. Otherwise, sometimes the herbs float to the top. The secret with putting the butter on, you do need to cover every last bit, because that will keep it from air getting in. Just because I'm me.
You do. I love the fact that you put flowers in everything.
I do. I love it. And there are your chive flowers.
Oh, Pen, that's beautiful.
Two really easy recipes and cheap for hopefully a lovely VE day. Potted salmon with herbs and some soda bread, and then some rhubarb and elderflower crumble.
They're beautiful, Pen. Thank you very, very much.
You're very welcome.
And I hope you all have a very happy VE day.
Happy VE day.